Hello. Hello. This is a video response. I have been called out, everyone. A friend of mine, or at least he says he is, called me out recently on my video entitled "I Like Movies You Hate."
My name is, doesn't matter what my name is, I'm just making a video to respond to a fella I know. He's a lovely guy, hell of a singer, talented chap.
I don't know if you can see him, but he had to be my background after that. Mr. Capell 123, I believe your YouTube channel is. He brought up some interesting points over the course of a 48.5-minute video, taking apart my, we'll call it an analysis of movies. Very, very good, well done. Although, I have to fire back at you just a little bit. For instance, you mentioned, I believe, in my ranting about people not liking Alien Covenant, I believe one of the things you said was about how I was saying that people complained that they didn't get the answers that they wanted from it. I should elaborate just a little bit. The comment I'm going from is of a school of thought that essentially went into that film with an idea of what should happen next from Prometheus to Covenant. The film didn't necessarily follow the narrative that they wanted, so they pissed and moaned about it. That is what I was really saying, that the movie is not designed for you individually. It's not there to give you an answer, it's there to provide an answer. And I agree with you. It is somewhat ambiguous, especially Prometheus, for instance. That's very ambiguous on its answers to questions it raised. Covenant also liked to raise the questions. Didn't stop me enjoying it. Sorry. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Prometheus, and I really enjoyed Alien Covenant. Now here's the thing. You then did speak about Aliens for quite a bit, and I have to say, I feel like Aliens is probably the least good out of the trilogy, simply because, and this is probably just my opinion, so we can't really make this an argument between ourselves here, Mr. Capell. It's maybe because I prefer a in-depth, slow build, atmospheric, sort of thrillery, horror-y type of film, whereas you clearly really like the spectacle and the action and things like that. That's fair enough. Like I said in my Alien 3 review, I really liked Aliens when I was a kid. Now, not as much. Also, you had questions about where's the Queen and things like that. You went into that, and not to get total geek technical on you, but Cameron invented that for Aliens. You could somewhat consider Aliens sort of a spin-off to the original film, where the original idea was that the alien would cocoon people and they would slowly dissolve and change into the egg. It was sort of alluded to in a deleted scene that never made it in. They cut it out for pacing, and probably rightly so. It's not a brilliant idea. I mean, it was 1979. That was the sort of way that they were going with that. Now with Ridley Scott taking back over the helm, I think he's going more in that direction. So, you know, your Camerons and your Colonial Marines and all that sort of shit, you're gonna have to let that shit go. Sorry dude, you're just gonna have to let it go and let it fly, and as I said, go in with your eyes and your mind open, and you will enjoy that movie. Ooh, what else was there? Batman vs Superman. I am going to include a clip of your video in this one, because I really enjoyed this.
I could have taken a grenade and put it in a smoke.
Some sexy stuff. No, I agree with you that I don't like what they're doing with Superman in these new films. I didn't really enjoy Man of Steel. There were a few little things that kept me in it. For instance, when he surrenders himself and he lets them put the handcuffs on him, and he sits in the interview room with Lois Lane, and he gets up and he just breaks them and just starts talking to them through the reflective window. And the way he speaks in the delivery of his lines and things like that it sort of reminded me of the Christopher Reeve Superman, and I did like that. And also at the end when he takes down a drone and he sits down there and he says, "Look, I'm on your side. You're just gonna have to trust me." Again, that was more like that. But he did spend a majority of that film brooding. I agree. I just don't like the moody, brooding Superman, and unfortunately they carried that aspect over more than how it ended with Man of Steel, and that's how I was hoping it would be brought forward, but it wasn't. However, Batman was awesome. You just try and challenge me on that. I don't give a flying F about the guns, because the only time he actually used a gun, it wasn't a gun with bullets. He shot a tracker onto the back of a truck, that he then proceeded to drive a car straight through. So like, cheers, Snyder. Didn't really get the logic on that. The other time it was a kryptonite grenade launcher, so there weren't really any guns. It's not like he, in real time, got out a Beretta and started shooting people. It was a dream sequence. Relax, internet. I know I'm about a year late saying that. What else was there? He killed a load of people. But when you think about where the source material's coming from, that's Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. Essentially what they were doing was The Dark Knight Returns, except for the Ronald Reagan very 80s narrative that they had going on with that comic. The fight happened in that comic. Do you know what? To put like a pin in my biggest problem with that film is that they should have called it Batman and Superman. Or Batman / Superman. By putting the V in there and making it as if it was going to be a fight film, it was a mistake. They shouldn't have done that, because by far the best part of that film is the warehouse fight where Batman completely kicks ass on like 20 people, and then of course the introduction of Wonder Woman. Right at the end, come on Mr. Capell, tell me that's crap. That was awesome. Wonder Woman was amazing. That fight with the three of them versus the poorly executed Doomsday was excellent, and it made the film. Then of course they did do the death of Superman, which was slightly underwhelming considering the actual death of Superman in the comic books lasted almost a year. Slightly disappointing of a storyline, but still, it's a flawed movie, as I said, but I really liked it. And when I said stop ruining my franchises, I meant studio interference and people going in, taking one look at it, and it not being exactly the way they thought it should be or would be, and dismissing it. That's what I have a problem with. Suicide Squad, agreed. What a fumbled, horrible mess that was. I'm trying to do this without swearing too much. I'm like, because I am quite about it. Although, Ghostbusters, you are wrong. That film was not good, but let me clarify. 2016 Ghostbusters. The film was not good, and it wasn't bad either. I sat through that film just watching it. That was it. I laughed at a couple of things, and that was about it. I really hated the sort of lowest common denominator type jokes that were in there all the time. Also, I had a problem with the fact that most of the scenes in that film were, right, there's an A point and a B point. Beginning of the scene and the end of the scene, we have to get from there to there. Go wild. And it was just improv scenes after improv scenes. They'd like blocked out the beginning and the ends and left it up to them how they get there. That works a lot of the time, but in films where that works, they they'll do that in a few scenes. It seemed like every single scene that's what they were going for, and that's what they did. And only about 10% of it was that funny that you would leave it in a movie, in my opinion. Sorry. It's not that good, but it's not that bad either. It's just... I can't think of a better word for it. Just, I watched it and went, yeah. Anyway, just those points I wanted to hit on, and you ended your video with, let's have a beer sometime. Well, I'll do you one better, sir. I invite you to this space here, where you will take part in a challenge, sir, and we shall battle to the, well, not to the death, to the end of the video, about 10 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. Anyway, that is your challenge, sir. If I had a gauntlet or a glove, I'd, you know, challenge you to a duel. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Mr. Capell. Excellent video, sir. I look forward to your response. I want to recreate your pose. I don't think I can. You have a very unique body language. Let me go for this.